Hey guys, thank you so much for waiting. Thank you for coming. If you were thinking that there was something wrong with the audio, there is definitely not. I just had myself on mute for a while. Fuck it, let's say hi. Hi, welcome along. Probably could have tidied up my jacket first before I jumped on. I guess today I was standing in my windowsill and I realized that as soon as I jumped off the call, like my eyes were streaming so much, like I was squinting so much throughout the last two videos. So I've sat down, hopefully, bear with, hopefully, I don't need to squint so much this time. Beautiful, beautiful. How are you all going? Right, so this is 3 out of 3. This is the last one in the episode. Welcome along. It's a better connection for you. Alrighty. So let me know in Facebook if you are watching live. I don't know if there's anyone watching at the moment. It's a beautiful day. I don't blame everyone. If everyone is out and about, then I totally don't blame everyone. Now, if you're watching on replay, please type in #replay. It would be interesting to see how many of you guys have been, following along. I'm going to have my comments right next to me here so I can see if anyone is live. Hey, June, how's it going? Yeah, I'm going to have my comments right here, so I'm going to tune into my comments every now and then, although I shouldn't because I can't multitask. June, did you catch the first two workshops, like 1 out of 3 and 2 out of 3? Welcome along, guys. So this is like the big finale. This is the biggie. This is the big one that puts it all together. Everything that you have learned so far is going to make sense today. It's going to tie in today. I've kind of taught you like the practical element, the vital information. I've taught you everything that you needed on that side. And this today, this is teaching you the internal, the mental shifts, the exact things that need to change so you can get out of your damn way and start losing weight. If you are tuning in live, I want to know whether you managed to stick to your plan yesterday. And if you're watching and you haven't seen number 1 and number 2, get back on 1 and 2 first, because this might not make sense. I want to know if you managed to stick to your plan. And if you didn't, why didn't you? It'd be really interesting. It'll be really interesting to find out if you didn't stick to your plan. Why didn't you? What happened? Why didn't you stick to it? Was it too strict? Was it too loose? Was it weird? Did you forget? Let me know. Let me know if you stuck to the plan. June, because you haven't watched yesterday's session, this will make absolutely no sense what I'm talking about right now. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Pri. Lovely to see you guys again. Thank you for joining for the third and final one. I've got like a little bit of heartburn. I don't know what's going on. I just had a date with a little bit of peanut butter, and I don't know why it's kind of like stuck here. Excellent. So, who deviated from the plan? Why did you deviate from the plan? What happened? Who's not jumped on a call with me yet? And who has? Okay, guys, as always, if you would like the accompanying resource today, I want you to type in resource into the chat. Am I live? For some reason, it's not coming up live. Okay, hopefully it is. Can you see me? Yeah, it kind of froze for a little bit. If you need the resource, I want you to type in resource underneath. I want you to type in resource underneath this video, or I want you to message me in the DMs and let me know if you do want the accompanying resource. This one's going to be an epic one again today, guys. I don't just give you shit that you don't need. I give you shit that works, shit that helps. There's extra stuff on them to kind of help you work through things. Right. Okay, let's get cracking, shall we? I've postponed enough. I don't know how many people are on. I don't know how many people are watching. So you know what? Let's start. I don't know if I have many comments, so I'll come back to this. So how can you tell if you are eating emotionally? Yesterday we talked about, the day before we talked about hunger and fullness. So we know what hunger feels like. We know when we need to stop eating food. We know what that feels like. That's cool. That's awesome. But how can you tell that it's emotional eating? Well, if you followed the past 2 days and you're still craving and wanting food, then remember, if food isn't the problem, food isn't the solution. Now, I mentioned this yesterday, okay? We've taken away the physical element of desire and urges. Now it's time to look at now it's time to start disconnecting from your emotions, right? Disconnecting food to emotions. And this is where the magic is going to start happening. We're going to start increasing self-awareness. We're going to increase our thoughts, our emotions, and our patterns, specific triggers and situations. Now, because of this, it's really important to really start noting what's going on. So as soon as you start bringing more self-awareness into the mix, as soon as you start dialing into what's going on emotionally, I want you to grab a pen and paper, because ultimately what comes out is going to be your subconscious talking, but also your rationalization part of your brain is going to be able to go, oh, hang on a minute, that actually doesn't make sense. I had a call this morning with a client, and I kind of basically said to her, I fed back to her what she said to me. And she was like, well, actually, now you say it, it just sounds silly. Or now you say it, it just sounds bad. Like, I wouldn't say that to a friend. And I'm like, exactly. But as soon as you get it out and to another person or on a piece of paper, what your brain believes is what it thinks is true. So if your brain believes that you need to lose weight, if you believe that, then that is the truth. And nothing else will be able to tell you otherwise. If you believe that you have red hair and you're blonde like me, it'll be very difficult for someone to convince you otherwise. And you'll be like, no, I've got red hair. And someone will be like, no, you've got blonde hair. You'll be like, no, this is red hair, because I believe that it is red hair, right? And your brain will tell you that is the ultimate truth. So it is really difficult to kind of pull ourselves out of certain situations and understand that what we believe isn't necessarily true, but your brain's going to make you, it's going to tell you that it's true. Okay. So once you start increasing your self-awareness around your thoughts, around your emotions, around patterns, behavioral patterns, specific triggers and situations, it's really important to start writing these things down, because then we can start breaking into what your brain thinks is the truth, i.e. beliefs, and understanding that they're not necessarily true. Not only this, is you can rationalize things, you can understand things better, and even kind of think things through easier when you're journaling. Also, to tell it's emotional, I want you to utilize this little method, and this is like a little nugget before we move on to the main juicy part of this session. I want you to use distract, delay, and assess. Okay, so if you believe that you are emotionally eating because you are physically not hungry, and you think, I'm stressed, or the words like, I'm stressed, I need to eat some ice cream, or I'm tired, I just want a chocolate bar, or I'm upset, I need crisps, whatever it is, if that feels like the truth, then it's probably emotionally eating. And I want you to utilize this little nugget before I move on. And I don't know why, but I should have kind of talked about this a little bit more, but I'm going to move on very quickly. So make sure you got your pen and paper. Distract, delay, and assess. So what I mean by this is find a distraction. Yeah. Find something that is not food related to distract you in that moment. Are you sad? Okay. Who can you talk to? Are you angry? Okay. Where can you write your thoughts down? Are you frustrated? Okay. How can you start a task? Or overwhelmed? How can you start one task? This is your distraction. And then the delay comes in. So the delay comes in where you are delaying the eating process. And what that's doing, and tying this into what we talked about yesterday, what that's doing is kind of postponing and stopping that instant gratification that your brain wants. Your brain wants instant gratification all the time, right? It always thinks in short term, it's demanding, and it wants things now, now, now. So as soon as you say, right, okay, I'm going to distract myself with another task, I'm going to delay the eating, and then later on, I'm going to assess. So distract, delay, and assess, okay? Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, guys. So my second point now is how food becomes connected to emotionally eating. My notes for this session are just so blasé. I just read it and I was like, what the fuck does that mean, Bianca? So sorry about that. My notes are just like simple bullet points. Pushing myself outside my comfort zone, see? So how does this happen? Okay, now emotional eating happens when a connection between two things is created at a certain point in your life, and usually it's before the age of 7. That's when before the ages of 7 is when we learn behavior, right? But not necessarily before 7. Sorry, that's learned behavior. But something is connected in our brain. So essentially, we are feeling or sensing something inside, and we have ended up using food or alcohol as a coping mechanism, as a coping strategy. Now, what's happened is, for example, okay, I use this perfect example, right? Sally, she is at school and she's kind of being a little bit bullied, and she takes her lunchbox to the toilet, right, where she then eats her lunch. Really sad story. It doesn't have to be this traumatic, but this is an exaggerated version of what might happen. And then Sally she opens up her lunchbox and she looks inside there, and there's a chocolate spread sandwich, there's a packet of crisps. And she eats that and she thinks of being at home where she would usually have a chocolate sandwich, and she thinks of, her mum that would have given her the crisps. And suddenly she feels a slight sense of like soothing. Maybe she feels a little bit better and she feels happier. Now, chemically, things are going on in her brain, okay? The sugar is spiking her blood sugar levels, which ultimately is going to make her feel happier in the moment. Okay, now she's eating the food, it tastes wonderful, it's got the bliss point that all foods are manufactured nowadays to have, which means it's got a high amount of sugar and fat, so it's ticking all the right boxes, right? It's ticking all the right boxes. Now suddenly she feels better. Okay, she goes back out and she doesn't feel as lonely, she feels connected, she feels happy and excited. And now in her brain has learned now that food creates and soothes negative emotions and creates more positive emotions. So now her habit brain, next time she feels lonely or frustrated or sad or upset, her brain's going to go, oh, hang on a minute, I can't be bothered to figure this out. So where have we in the past felt like this that we can just copy from, like copy and paste, right? So her brain's gone, oh, actually, when Sally was younger, she felt shit. This is how she got better. This is how she felt better. We are going to crave those foods to feel better now. So then the brain sends out signals. It's like, oh, chocolate. oh, crisps, oh, this, oh, that. And now suddenly Sally, maybe she's 21, 22, she goes and reaches for that food because the brain has remembered that this is the negative emotion or feeling that she has. And it is trying to soothe her, trying to protect her, trying to make her feel happy. So ultimately, she reaches for the foods that is not in alignment with her goals, maybe not even plant-based, but she wants it anyway. Like cheese is a very common trigger food as well for a lot of people. Now suddenly it's normal, right? Suddenly, anytime she feels lonely after a breakup or after moving out and feeling a little bit lonely, maybe she feels sad or frustrated, maybe her boss pisses her off. Anytime an emotion comes up, it will be connected to that previous time where she was able to soothe her emotions, and her brain will be like, bam, we did this once and then it's worked a couple of times, let's just do this. So I just want to kind of reiterate that it's really not your fault that this has happened, but what has happened is this creation of an association. And as I have always said, our brains are freaking lazy, and it will resort to something that it already knows and that it's already done. So breaking this is not just breaking some or changing something that you do momentarily. I've just realized I haven't started recording this session. Sorry. It's not something that you do. It's all right. I should be able to download it. Not that something that you do momentarily, right? It is something that you have to break and undo years and years and years of habit, right? You don't just have to decide now, oh, I'm going to stop craving food or I'm going to stop emotionally eating. Yeah, you can decide to do it, but actually changing it is not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen with consistency and practice. And I want you to just approach this with a really kind heart for yourself, a really generous heart. Imagine if your friend came to you and said, I have had this hair. Why am I using hair as an example today? I've had my blonde hair for ages and ages and ages, and I've decided I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut it really short, but I'm having a hard time parting with my hair. You wouldn't just turn around and say, oh, just freaking deal with it, will you? You wouldn't just turn around and say, oh, get over it. It's just hair. Okay, letting go of something that you've had for so long, i.e., that connection and that trust with that food to soothe you and to comfort you, is going to be difficult. So as long as long as you are aware that it's going to be a little bit difficult to break that habit of a lifetime, that's okay. But you also need to know that it is 100% doable. Okay. And the reason why I pre-frame you and tell you that it might be difficult is because a lot of people come at this and then after a day, after 2 days, maybe after a week, they go, oh, I'm going to give up. It's too hard. Or I tried it once and it didn't work. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to need to pay it a little bit of consistency and give yourself grace around it. So there are a lot of common emotional eating triggers. Let's stop sharing the screen now. There are a lot of common emotional triggers that most people will feel, right? And this is feelings of loneliness, sadness, anger, frustration, and feeling stressed. These are not it's not limited to, but these are the most common emotional eating triggers. And the good thing about a trigger is you know that if you do it, you can say to yourself, right, okay, when I'm angry, when I'm sad, when I'm frustrated, when I'm stressed, I tend to X. So I tend to like raid the cupboards until I find something really sugary, right? I tend to want to go down the shop and buy a multi-pack of biscuits, whatever it is. The good thing is because it is a habit, you know when it comes up. So that way you can change it and change your script and give yourself a script for when it happens in the future. No, I have a really perfect example. One of my clients, I'm gonna keep you anonymous just in case you have a go at me today. Um, she recently realized that she was craving sweet stuff in the evening after the kids went to bed, right? And she said to me, "I'm just addicted to sugar, Bianca." I said, okay, you're addicted to sugar, cool. So when you wake up, first thing that you want to do is hit the chocolate spread or hit the kids' sugary cereals. First thing you want to do is grab a chocolate bar. No, 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 she said. No, no, no. I like the morning's fine. I go to work fine, at lunch fine, and then I get home, and even then it's fine. But when the kids go to bed, I crave that sugar. I said, okay, it's not the fact that you're addicted to sugar. And a lot of people think they're addicted to sugar. And this is why I said, how do you know it's emotional eating, right? If food isn't the problem, so if it's not like a dip in your blood sugar levels, then food isn't the solution. So in this instance, I said to her, well, it's not going to be the fact that you're addicted to sugar because you don't wake up and think about it first thing, right? You don't wake up and expect to have a massively sugary breakfast. Some people do, but most people don't. And it's actually like you can go most of the day when you're distracted, when you're busy, right? But it's when a particular time of the day comes around every day that's when you think about it, that's when you're craving it, right? And she realized that after the kids go to bed, she could relax, she could be herself. She realized that she was dumping all of the responsibility that's been on her shoulders all day. She's busy at work, she comes home and she's got kids to look after. That's a big responsibility, especially if someone who works full time in a very busy job, may I add. And so in the evening time, once the kid's gone to bed, that's her moment of going, oh, it's been a long day, right? And that's when a part of her brain goes, hang on a minute, this is my time. I want to be naughty, right? And her brain is going, let's go get some chocolate. And we realized that there was a form of rebellion, like it was a lot of responsibility, a lot of effort, a lot of time that she was putting into other people throughout the day. And then as soon as she got rid of that responsibility, it was her time to be a kid again. And that's totally fine. Like some people need and want that. Some people want to dump their responsibility. Some people they some people might just want to fill in some space and some time. Whatever it is for you, I want you to realize that it's going to be slightly different, okay? But what happened with Alison? What happened with Alison? She's going to kill me now. I'm so sorry, Alison. I said it once now. What happened with her? Oh my God, I'm going to need to re-record this. What happened with her is that we took away or uncovered that idea of rebellion that her brain was kind of producing of like, now the responsibilities have gone, now I can have sugar. We swapped it for a healthier snack. So there's no need to completely eradicate everything that makes you happy. There's no need to go in and change everything, but we just improved what she was eating. And now it's been months and she has not eaten the sugary cereal, as far as I'm aware. She's not eaten the sugary cereal or the chocolate spread, vegan chocolate spread that the kids have in their cupboards because she knows that she can enjoy her evening, ditch all responsibility, enjoy the time with her husband, enjoy just a little bit of relaxation time. And she's snacking less because she has been battling this emotional eating this whole time and she's been bloody good at it too. So there's a long example of, what it could be. So if food isn't the problem, i.e. if there's no nutrient density, if there's no nutrient or calorie deficiency, and we've covered, how to go about that in the last 2 sessions, then it's going to be emotional, okay? If it's not that you haven't eaten enough of something, If it's not that you haven't, drunk enough water, he's probably going to be emotional. Okay. And that's generally when you're overeating. Now, if you've struggled with like decompressing and understanding your emotions, you want to get to the root cause of it, like we did with Alison, to end emotional eating so you can keep the weight off for good without going cold turkey, or cold tofu, should I say, then I want you to comment the word clarity with me. You don't have to go further with any coaching, but I do promise to break down what's going on for you. I want to help you get clarity on the things you've tried before that have not worked. Show you how these methods that I have taught you in the last 2 days and today are applicable to your unique lifestyle, right? And your unique body. Now, I've got clients coming to me with no time, with too much time. I've got clients coming to me that have too many responsibilities, that have no responsibilities, that want to be plant-based, that don't want to be plant-based. Whatever you choose, my methods are totally applicable to your lifestyle. And it's going to be risk-free for you, okay? If you want to get my help, that's excellent. On my website, sorry, before I go on, I'm just going to quickly let you know, before I give you more ways to cope with emotional eating. I want to let you know that on my website, I have a 7-day money-back guarantee, because if I had a month money-back guarantee, that's 4 weeks of coaching, right? I've got a 7-day money-back guarantee. But for anyone in this workshop, so if you're watching replay or if you're watching live, I'm going to offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's risk-free for you, yeah? I know that a lot of people are worried about taking risks. So if you're struggling with emotional eating, if you're struggling with keeping the weight off, if you're struggling with yo-yo dieting, if you're struggling with the kind of plateauing or moving up and down within a weight bracket, and you're struggling to get out of that, and you're sick of this, if you're sick of diets, of dieting and restriction, if you're sick and tired of other systems, pills, potions that don't work, and you want to do something that's sustainable, that's enjoyable, that works for your body, then I want you to comment below, okay? Comment clarity or chat, whatever is easiest for you to message, and we will go through everything. I will break it down for you. And if you do not want to get my help in making it, if you do not want to get my help, that's totally fine. But I want to make it risk-free from you. Let's move forward. So, number 5. This is number 5 on my notes. This now is going to be called breaking the cycle. So let me just share my screen. This is the free resource, guys. If you would like the free resource in your mailbox, please, by all means, message me the word resource and I will send you the link. So I want you to understand your emotions. Now, if food isn't the problem, food isn't the solution. I don't know how many times I need to say that today, but hopefully you will understand my point in the end. So this is kind of a break the cycle worksheet, activity. Now, this is going to be long-winded, so I don't know why I changed over my my screen share already. But I want you, when you are feeling emotionally charged and you want to go into eating mode, you want to go into binge mode, you don't think that anything else is going to help apart from food, this is what you're going to do. First of all, you're going to sit with your emotions. How many times have you actually spent a few minutes with an emotion? Think about it. How many times have you actually spent time with a damn emotion? Just sitting there, feeling how it feels. Where do you feel it in your body? Can you feel rage? Does it feel bubbling inside you? Does it feel like anxiousness, like butterflies in your stomach? Does it feel heavy in your chest or in your throat? Do you actually remember what these feelings completely feel like within your body? How does it make you feel? How long does it stick around? Did you know that emotions generally take about 9 seconds to pass? So the first thing that I want you to do is really understand and sit with the emotion. I want you to name it out loud. What is this? Is it anxiety? Is it sadness? Is it happiness? Is it loneliness? Do I feel frustrated? Am I tired? Am I bored? Is this stress? Name it out loud. I feel stressed. Literally, just sit there and name it out loud. When you call it out, does it seem ridiculous? Like the response that your physical response that you're giving it, does it seem ridiculous to give it that much attention? Now, I want you to seek around for how you wish you want to feel instead. How do I want to feel? Okay. What do I want instead? This sitting and thinking instead of reacting is going to make huge changes in your response, i.e., emotional eating. What's probably happening is your body is struggling to process the emotions properly, and it just needs a quick fix. It just needs something to mask it. Now, what food and eating is doing is just slapping a band-aid over it and going, there you go. Your kid falls over. He says, I'm really upset. You stop, you interrupt him, you pat him on the head and you send him on his way. You don't listen to his emotions. That's what you're doing here. Not letting your brain and your body catch up with each other and not letting it reset itself to that equilibrium, right? So you've spotted your emotion. You see how it makes you feel. Describe where you feel it in your body. Does it sound ridiculous that you are giving it attention? Now I want you to find how you wish to feel instead. So say, for example, I'm stressed. This feels like sweating in my palms. It feels like a whirlwind in my head. It feels like a tightness in my throat and my chest. Like, how does it feel? That's what I mean. How does it feel? And now I want you to ask yourself what you want to feel instead. So now I want to feel relief. I want to feel peace. I want to feel calm. What does that look like in my body? Well, not sweating, not like a lower heart rate. I want to be breathing properly. I want to be able to go about my day without getting triggered. So what do you want to feel? And all of this is starting to break down. It's starting to slow down, right? We're hitting our foot on the brakes here. We're going, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's assess what's going on here. This is how I'm feeling. This is how it feels in my physical body. And emotion passes. An emotion will pass. Emotion is kind of accumulation of feelings that you feel inside your body. Imagine when you feel rage, when you're angry. You don't get that like bubbling sensation, that anger, that like fist, that you don't get those feelings for like an hour solid. So why would you go ahead and then eat to soothe a 9-second emotion when you know it's going to pass? when you know you can kind of gain a little bit more sense after just 10 seconds, right? So we know how we feel, we know how we want to feel. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how can this be fulfilled without food, or if you're applying this to alcohol, without alcohol? Do you need to call a friend? Do you need to read a book? Do you need this in a moment? Do you need to write it down? So this is where the resource comes in handy, and I'm going to reveal the titles here. So as soon as you feel the need to emotionally eat, I want you to write down here how you feel. And I've got loads of space for your own, and you can keep adding them more. You can keep adding more. And I want you to write down there any feeling that you get. Now, what do you usually do or eat or drink? So I'll give you an example. When I'm bored, I usually want something savory, but when I'm stressed, I want something sweet. Okay, I want donuts. Yes, I do crave freaking donuts. I want cookies. Yes, the wicked cookies from Tesco, if you're British, are incredible. Don't recommend them because then you'll want them all the time. I usually eat when I'm bored, probably toast. Rice cakes, because if it's not in the house, you're not going to have it, right? So that's generally, I mean, cookies and donuts sometimes are in the house, but very rarely. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. This hay fever is actually killing me this year. Honestly, I think I have like the last 3-4 weeks with my clients, I've been like, I'm going to sneeze every minute. Okay, so say for example, I'm bored or I'm stressed, right? Sometimes, or I'd say most of the time, these are the emotions that I feel most because I work from home and I work for myself, right? So there are elements of time where I'm bored because I'm between tasks, right? Maybe I've shut down a task and I'm going to start up a new task. Maybe I'm waiting like 5 minutes for my lunch break. So there's sometimes boredom and of course stress, because owning your own job, owning your own business doesn't come without stress, right? So I'm only using these two as my perfect example. So I want you to write in the chat, what do you usually feel? Like, what emotions do you know are a true trigger for you to emotionally eat? Can you drop them in the chat now, and I'll come back to that in a minute. What triggers you to emotionally eat? Let me know. So these are my two examples. Now, why is this behavior normal? I now want you to fill out. So you've written down or found the emotion that you're feeling. Then you're going to write down like what you want or what you usually do, right? So what do I want in the moment? If I'm filling this out in the moment, I would say, what do I want to eat, right? I'm going to change that. What do I want to eat? What do I want to eat or drink or do? Okay. Usually this is an eat or drink thing, especially if we're talking about emotional eating. Lena, stress. Not a huge amount of interaction, guys. Come on, tell me, what's your trigger emotion? What makes you want to emotionally eat? Thank you, Lena. Stress. Yeah, I get that. So now I want you to kind of like understand that this is normal. It is normal to feel stress. It is normal to want to soothe your stress with food. Okay. So, for example, if stress is my trigger, I want to eat XYZ. So this would be sweets, cookies, donuts. And why is this behavior normal? Well, it's learned behavior, right? And that's probably going to be a very similar answer most of the time. It's learned behavior. They're testing the fire alarms early today. It's learned behavior. It's normal. Most people do this, right? This is kind of what I want from you here. I want you to realize that this behavior is normal, and I want you to normalize it, because as soon as you start thinking, oh my God, I'm the only one. Oh my God, I'm broken. Oh my God, I'm messed up. As soon as you start thinking that, your brain just then goes to haywire and it starts going, oh my God, I can't be helped. So you're kind of like normalizing the behavior here. Now, the feeling I want to feel instead, well, if I'm stressed, I want to feel calm, I want to feel peace, I want to feel relaxed. Okay, so that's what I want to feel. And now, how can I satisfy this? So, how can I feel relaxed in this moment? For me, I can journal, I can take a walk in the sun or outside. Yeah, I can talk to my partner. I can talk to a friend or family. Right? I can talk to a friend or family. Okay. I can, what else can I do if I'm stressed? I can meditate. I can breathe. So intentional breathing. So intentional breathing is going to help me create that pattern, that breath pattern of calm and relaxation. Okay. Sheila, upset and tired. Yeah, upset and tired. They are very common things for want to reach for emotional eating. Okay. Now, this is basically your task. This is it. Okay. Practice, practice, practice. It is so, so important. If you forget to practice, if you don't practice, you're not going to make any change. Okay, and repetition and practice, that's how you're going to make the change here. Remember, years and years and years of habit change, we are breaking that, we are breaking through. Okay, so repetition and practice, this is ultimately going to create a new identity, and I want you to step into that identity. So with this sheet, which you can get by just messaging me and just saying, putting in the comments here, resource, and I'll send it to you. Sheila, I don't know why you want the resource. You literally have the resource already. Where's my notes? Yes. So what you're doing here is you're actually stepping away from learned behavior that you have always done. And now you're kind of left in a sense of limbo, in a place of limbo, right? And this is where you might struggle to make real change, because you're going to struggle stepping into that version of you where you trust yourself. You're moving away from the feelings of, or the identity of, I am someone who emotionally eats, and you're going to start acting in a way that that person doesn't. And what I mean by this is you're going to start realizing that the person that you believe or think you are isn't the person you're becoming. Now, this also works from a motivational perspective of, if you want to become someone or do something, if you want to practice something, then you need to step into that identity. So you then start behaving like the person you want to become. So if you're finding it difficult to step out of this, what's likely happening is you're struggling to let go of the old identity of, I am someone who emotionally eats, and step into a new identity of, I am someone who takes control of their emotions. I am someone who has it under control. I am someone who feels an emotion and lets it go without fueling my feelings of guilt and shame for the next 5 days. If you think this exercise is too much effort or too much work, you tell me. If a 2-minute exercise to disconnect, to delay, right? Distract, delay, and assess. If this assessment is too long, you tell me. whether doing 2 minutes on this is worthwhile when its counterpart is stressing, shaming, guilting yourself. Guilting yourself for the next 3 days. Okay. If you don't do this task when it is needed, you're going to waste the next few days worth of energy, mental clarity, happiness, and joy, and potentially missing out on experiencing true connections and memories with friends and family because you're going to be so busy shaming yourself for eating the foods in that moment because you thought the exercise was too long. And this kind of like really hit home with a client today. And I said, what's not today, the other day. And I said, what's more important to you? Sitting in the uncomfortable feeling of practicing something new for 5 minutes, or the 3 days of guilt and shame that comes after eating the foods that you didn't want to. So I want you to really sit with that as well. And if you're finding it difficult to quit the emotional eating, use that example. Ask yourself, what is more painful? Is it the not changing, or is it the trying? Because you don't know until you try. Right, back to my notes. Your homework is to get very excited to see what comes up, to get curious. I mentioned yesterday about judgment versus curiosity, and I just want to kind of reiterate again. We cannot grow when we are constantly judging ourselves, when we are constantly questioning ourselves, assessing in a negative way. Right? There's constructive criticism, but the criticism is still it's still shameful, it's still hurtful. So when you want to change the person who you are, or the habits that you do, I want you to think about approaching it from a place of curiosity. Like, why do I do that? Why do I think that this happens? Why is this my default? Why is this my habit and behavior? And using that perspective as a way of assessing, as opposed to being like, I can't believe I do that. Why have I been doing that? This is silly. Like, this is stupid behavior. It's not even real behavior. There's a difference between saying, I wonder why I do this, and why do I do this? And the why do I do this is judgment. And the I wonder why is curiosity. One is trying to elicit answers. One is just shaming and pointing into a corner. So really give yourself grace and ease and love in this sense, because not enough give ourselves enough love in this sense. Okay, so this is going to really help you take a pause, put your foot on the brakes, right in between those moments that you want to emotionally eat. Now, if you came to me in a week's time and said, Bianca, that workshop, it was all right, but it didn't work, I will ask you, were you hungry when you ate? Did you have enough when you stopped eating? I would ask you if your food was already on plan. I would ask you if you had a varied diet. And I would also ask you if, when you ate the foods that you didn't want to, what was going on in your head? What were you feeling? What did you want to feel? And if you said to me, yeah, I felt hungry when I was eating, I stopped when I'd had enough. So the first session, you said to me, I ate all my vegetables and I ate a healthy, balanced, nutritious meal. And I realized that it was a healthy, balanced, nutritious meal. And you didn't stop and associate and address your emotions. then I would tell you, well, that's exactly where the problem is. Okay. These elements, session 1, session 2, and session 3 are really, really important to tie together. You can't just take them and work with 1 or work with 2 or even work with today's session. You've got to really apply them all. That's why I've given you the information in this order so you can apply it, right? Planning, eating the right way, according to your body, according to your body's needs, and then pausing and taking a moment to understand your emotions and understand what you can do instead. Now, this handout, this resource, I want you to fill it out anytime you come across this emotion. I want you to complete it and make sure that that is, you've got your list of things on the right-hand side of what you can do in that moment. If you're really struggling with these things, then hit me up, send me a message, and I can help you figure out what it is that you should be doing in those moments, or what you can be doing that's going to help satisfy that craving instead. Okay. Now, don't forget, guys, I am completely free for you. I've got a few slots in my calendar. I literally want you to get on a call. I want you to message me today and say clarity, and we'll get on a call, because it's a free call and you'd be silly if you left it. But also, if anyone does want coaching, if you attended any of these workshops, I'm giving you a 30-day money back guarantee. You can see that that doesn't really make me nervous, but I just keep slipping up over my words. And if you don't feel like it was worth every penny, I'll give you your money back. But if you jump on that call and you don't want my help, totally fine, as long as you utilize that call. Okay. Right, guys, I am gonna look through the messages. I don't think there's many messages today. This is a quiet one. Where the hell did everyone go? Session 1 was crazy, session 2 was busy, and session 3 everyone dropped off the face of the earth. June, cool. Can you watch the first 2 before you come back? Resource, you betcha, Lena. I'll send it over, my darling. Sheila, you already have the resource. You already have it. You know you have it. But thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Jeanette, yes, I'll send you the resource as well. Right, it's been am I missing something? Is that literally just been all the messages today? That was a quiet one today. June, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Awesome, guys. Well, if you have any questions, please put them below. If you want your resource, message me resource. If you want to make use of the free call, message me clarity, and we will get on it. Much love to you. If you have any questions, please shoot them through. Do not be afraid to ask. Take care, guys, and I will see you on the other side. Now is the time that it's frozen. Oh, while I'm here, don't forget to like this video. Thanks.